Hi everyone. Just woke up today, turn on my Dota 2 and boom, 7.06D. 4 or 5 patches in a month. Valve is getting crazier on the patches now. They're working so hard towards the patch. I'm not sure why, but I think it's because they've completed releasing all the videos from Dota 1, and now they're focusing more and more on the game patch itself, like balancing the whole thing kind of shit. So we're gonna go through a patch note again. I thought I just did one last week. So this is patch 7.06D. It's not gonna affect like the whole game meta, but it's definitely gonna change a lot in the laning stage and or in the gameplay or the item choices. From what I know, every patch they release now is because of what's happening in the pro scene, and they want to rebalance most of the stuff and make some hero that's overly less pickable, and make those like hero that's never been picked like pick more. If you understand. Alright, let's start. Necronomicon duration increase from 45 to 50, so extra 5 seconds on Necronomicon. This is like promoting people to purchase more Necronomicon. Helm of the Dominator, minimum HP increase from increase 100 HP. Yeah, that's not gonna change the whole game, but it's gonna, of course, improve the rate of people buying Helm of Dominator in the pop scene and in the pro scene. I think it's good enough that 100 HP, 1500 HP is actually a lot. So maybe 7.06E is going to improve another 100 if people don't buy it. Echo Saber slow duration, 0.1 seconds. That's not going to make a huge difference because people are buying less and less Echo Saber now. Instead, people are getting Rod of Atos because that's a 2-second root ability. Gives you stats, gives you HP, mana, and agility as well. So it's, if I'm not wrong, it's about the same price as Rod of Atos. And Echo Saber is only for a melee hero, but Rod of Atos can be used by melee or ranged heroes. Especially when we talk about this, I want to talk about Rod of Atos. It's actually especially good for stunners. Like, I've tried using it on Kunkka. It's so good. You can guarantee 100% splash when you use Atos on your enemy, and then the splash will slow them. So if you Atos them first and then splash, you get 2 seconds plus that 1 seconds, so it's 3 seconds stun plus a 2 or 3 seconds slow, I think. So it's fucking OP on certain heroes that have a ranged stun. It just increases your stun by 2 more seconds, especially in the early stages. Alchemist, Chemical Rage, movement speed increased by 10, first level, second level. Okay, so he basically walks even faster now. Extra 10 movement speed. Alchemist level 15 talent increase. Plus 80 unstable concoction damage to 100. So basically his stun damage has increased by 20. With the level 15 talent tree. Bounty Hunter movement speed increase. Okay, so people are playing too much Ricky now. They want to buff Bounty Hunter by 5 movement speed so that it can reappear again in the pro scene. 5 movement speed. That's pretty fast for without boots. Like that movement speed is so fast. Bristleback strength gain reduced. Warpath damage bonus increase, reduce. Okay, so this is a nerf for Bristle because it has appeared too much in the pro scene and it has a very good win rate, especially in the last tournament where Team Liquid was the champion. I forgot what's the tournament again. The latest tournament. It's a small tournament, but yep. Liquid performed very well with Bristle, so they nerfed it as expected. Chaos Knight, no one ever plays this hero, so they buff it a little bit. Base strength increased from 2022. Okay. That's not enough for Pop's games, but it's actually really good for the pro scene, especially on the laning stage with 2 extra strength gain. Chen, Hand of God. Heal increase by 25. What the fuck? 25 is nothing. Like, they should increase this because the cooldown is so big. This is bullshit, and it doesn't fully heal his creeps anymore. So Chen is very hard to use in the early stage right now, in my opinion, unless you get a scepter, and then all your dominated creeps get a minimum 2k HP or a maximum 2k HP. But it only heals 2 to 325 for the first 2 levels on your ult. It's bullshit. They should heal at least double on his dominated creeps or his creeps with Holy Persuasion. Clockwork, hookshot damage reduce. Oh lord. Why do they nerf this hero? This hero is not even... doesn't even appear much in the pro scene anyway. Crystal Maiden, Frostbite mana cost increase. Oh my lord. Increased by 25 in the first level, because the first 2 level is where you're gonna stuck with your Frostbite for a long time. So if they nerf this, that means people will take Frostbite less and take the other skill. Frostbite is the second skill where they root the enemy. So this is a big nerf on Crystal Maiden actually. Which I think is wrong. It's not reasonable at all, because Crystal Maiden is more effective on the early game than the mid-late game or early mid game. Darkseer base intelligence reduced by 2. Nerf Darkseer again? Are you kidding me? Wall of replica slow reduce. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my lord. So basically these heroes are harder to play now in the Pops game, right? Crystal Maiden and Darkseer. I don't really understand sometimes what they're thinking. They nerf so much until no one plays it, and then they buff it back. Doom duration increased from 15 to 16. 1 second Doom That's good because I believe Doom does like 50 to 80 or 50 to 100 DPS depending on the level. So it's extra 1 second. It's extra 50 to 100 DPS per second. I mean, extra 50 to 100 DPS cost on the hero. That might be enough to kill that hero. This is a good buff on Doom. He needs it. He probably needs 18 seconds Doom, because basically it's a single target Doom, and you can heal that target with a mechanism, or maybe Chen's ult with Hand of God, or you can send him back. Because, and when they introduce the fountains, this is what I mentioned in the previous patch note. Doom is not relevant anymore because of the fountain heal. So when you doom someone, it takes 15 to 16 seconds, and now 16 seconds to kill someone. So if they walk to a fountain and pop the fountain, they can survive that. Or if they have a healer in the team, let's say if they have Omni Knight, right? Let's say Doom and Omni Knight. If Omni Knight is I mean, if the enemy has an Omni Knight, they can heal the Doom target and then repel to save him. Or they don't need an Omni Knight. They can just basically heal him with any healer or any mechanism or Guardian Greaves. So in the mid-late game, Doom's ultimate become less and less relevant. So increasing by 1 second doesn't even bring him back to the pro scene at all, because this thing takes too long. So you have healers with healing abilities, you have healing items that can save him, you have fountains that can heal him, right? They have to buff Doom in a way that his Doom deals more damage in a shorter time. Instead of increasing the duration of Doom, they should shorten and, you know, focus on like 10 seconds Doom, but the DPS is equivalent to the max 16 seconds or 18 seconds DPS in a 10 seconds Doom. That's how you can really make Doom effective and kill someone. Why would you pick a Doom instead of picking Enigma or Earthshaker? I mean, this shit is a single target ability, and it takes so long to kill someone, and teammates have time to TP in and help or save or even deny the target. That's Doom. 16 seconds, I mean, it's too long. I'm not even talking about the pro scene at this time, I'm talking about the pubs game, where this 1 second don't really matter that much. Like, they're going the wrong direction. Gyrocopter movement speed increase. Okay, because still no one's playing Gyrocopter after all the buff. This move speed with the normal brown boots with a level 1 skill 1 or Q, you can kill someone pretty much easier now with the boots or windlace for start. Invoker Alacrity cooldown increase, so it takes longer to get Alacrity on Invoker now. Thanks to Miracle for that nerf. IO Tether movement speed reduce. Fuck. Oh my god, they just don't want IO in the pro scene anymore. Lash drag, level 10 talent increase. Okay, they want Lash back. 25 movement speed, that's a lot for Lash. Because Lash is so squishy. He either relies on escape items, like a 4-staff, or a Yules. Yules is most effective on him. Gives him movement speed and gives him, you know, lets him disable himself for like 2.5 seconds or something. And now it has like a movement speed buff or a health buff you can choose in level 10 talent tree. Chain Frost bounce range increase for Leech. Okay, this should be increased a bit more, I guess, because this is so hard to bounce, especially in the pop scene. In the pro scene, maybe it's easier because you have setup and follow up in your team, but in the pops game, usually the setup and follow up is not as good because you're playing. If let's say you're playing a solo game, you're playing with random people, and this is really hard. And increased by 25 is okay, but I mean this should be 700 to 800. Yep. If you want to see more Leech in the pro scene. Medusa Scepter Stun increase per bounce. 0.2 to 0.3, so the last target will get 0.3 times 5. That's 2.5 seconds stun for the last target. Alright, this is really good. I tried it, and I even pick Medusa for the battle cup 2 days ago. I actually won it with Medusa rushing a scepter build. It's really good. So increase extra 0.5 seconds, half a second stun for the last target. That's insanely good, especially on in a team fight or or when Medusa's farming solo. It's really good. Mirana agility gain increase again. This is turning Mirana back to a carry or a core. A core mid-core Mirana instead. Whereby his or her right click will be a lot stronger now, scaling into the late game. Monkey King. Okay, level 10 talent increased from 10 to 12 evasion. This is crazy. Boundless strike critical damage increase. Now they're increasing back his critical damage. Okay. Primal Spring max damage increase. So this is more like a buff for Monkey King, whereby they want him to be more of a carry than a support. Looks like it. Or the Primal Spring can be more of a support skill, but the Boundless Strike and the Talent Tree are more like a carry. Or Monkey King can be a lot more tankier in a team fight situation. This talent is actually good enough. Good enough for him to become a counter pick for a DPS lineup. For like if your enemy has a DPS or a right click lineup, this is good enough for Monkey King to be a support or a carry. as a reason for a counter pick, in my opinion. Morphling base attack time improve, so Morphling attacks a little bit faster, just a little bit. Which doesn't really matters, that 0.05 seconds improve. Nature's Prophet Treant damage increase. Okay, so Nature's Prophet's baby Treant have 4 extra damage per Treant, and he's got like 4 extra Treant times 4. That means they're trying to promote some split push lineup right now, because we're seeing less and less split push strategy at the moment, so probably they want to improve that. Necrophos, okay. Reaper Scythe cooldown reduce. Oh my lord. Oh, it's only 10 and 5 seconds. Okay, that's okay. Level 10 talent increase. 6 to 8 strength. It's a tiny buff for Necrophos. It's not game changing, but it's good enough to pick him as an offlaner, because at level 10 you get 40 extra HP, plus you get extra, reduced cooldown on his ultimate. That's not so big, but this is good enough for Necrophos. I play Necrophos a lot, so I think it's a good buff. Not game changing, but good. Hunter in the Night mana cost increase. Yes, they should have nerfed this. This hero is so gay at this patch. I was about to do a hero guide on Night Stalker because he is so good in this patch. Void Day slow duration reduce from 2 to 1.25. Okay, this is just destroying his mana void slow in the daytime. This is good enough. This nerf is good enough to let us see less Night Stalker in the pro scene, at least in my opinion. Not so much in the pop scene, because pop have a lot more time to abuse the night time effect, and usually in the pop scenes it's easier to get your Aghanim Scepter, because not many people will play a hard support or a roaming support with a Night Stalker. Instead there will be a farming support or a core Night Stalker. So this doesn't affect much in the pop scene, but it's good enough to remove him like from the pro scene, in my opinion. Unless you have to you come up with a lineup that can abuse the daytime effect, like something like a Coddle to combo with the Night Stalker, then you will need to think harder for a lineup that can have the fact that can do something out more in the daytime if you're gonna pick this hero, because it's kind of useless in the daytime now, which it should be. Phantom Lancer base HP regen increased from 0.5 to 1.5. What? Extra 1 HP regen on Phantom Lancer. This is a huge buff. This is probably the biggest buff in this patch, in my opinion. 1 HP regen. Are you kidding me? Partner attack range increase. So partner is like, I believe the longest base attack range now is 650, which is, if I'm not wrong, don't quote me on this, if I'm not wrong, it's Mirana and Lena, 650 range. So this is almost close to the longest range attack. Why don't they just make it 650? Partner is so squishy. Shadow Demon base strength increase from 17 to 19. Extra 40 HP. That's extremely good for support. Good enough for them to appear back in the pro scene. Not really, but I think they patched Shadow Demon the last patch as well. And this patch, it's good, but it's not as good as before they nerfed him. Skyreth Mage. Concussive shot damage increase. What? This is the slow skill from Skyreth Mage, so they improved by a little bit, plus his third skill where he amplifies damage and silence the enemy. This is actually good, but not that. I actually thought it was the first skill in the first place, but this is just the slow, so it's not really that much. It's good enough. I think it's good because we're seeing less and less Skyreth Mage in the pro scene now. We want to see more Skyreth because it doesn't fit in a core or a support right now. Like he's like you don't know if Skyreth Mage is a core or a support. Should you play him as a core or support? And you have better cores and support to pick from rather than picking Skyreth Mage. And his skill's so bad into the late game. So they probably need a bit more buff or some skill rework on Skyreth, in my opinion. Or maybe just buff his strength gain per level. Tiny level 10 talent increase from 6 strength to 8. Level 10 talent increase from 12 intelligence to 14. Craggy exterior damage increase. 20 for first level, 30, 40, and then 50. Increased by 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. That's a lot of damage, 120 damage. So basically when you attack Tiny, the Craggy Exterior will stun you and do some damage to you. So now right clickers will have a harder time clicking him down because the reflecting damage is a lot more right now, especially when you scale to the highest level. They can use Tiny as a tanker now. It's like the new Centaur. Not really, but maybe the pros can abuse that. This is a huge buff. in my opinion. Although craggy exterior doesn't always trigger, but against like some ranged squishy heroes like Sniper and Mirana, who likes to right click you but have very little HP, this would actually make a difference. Especially against a Sniper. This can be a counter pick to a Sniper. This is my first feeling when I look at this. I'm not sure if you guys have other thoughts on anything. Just leave a comment in below so that I can have new ideas, or we can share our ideas. Treant Protector base damage, base movement speed reduce. Okay, so they nerfed Treant again, and now, oh my god, this is like the slowest movement speed in Dota history. 270. I can't remember anyone that have a lower movement speed than this in Dota 2. Oh my god, or in Dota history, man. This looks like the slowest shit that ever exists in the Dota 2 or in Dota history. Oh no. Why they do that? Underlord, Firestorm. Max health damage increase. %1 to 4%. It's good. It's a good buff, but it's not so good that they can bring him back to the pro scene. Even Enigma does more damage than that, I think. It's the same AoE shit that you throw. So Firestorm is like his first ability, I believe, whereby he throws a Firestorm on an AoE that he clicks on for like 7 seconds, if I'm not wrong. So 7 seconds of Firestorm. Given that your enemy stays in that area for 7 seconds, otherwise it's not going to do much damage. I think Underlord, in my opinion, is still weak in his overall skill and, you know, like his stats scaling into the late game. He's still fairly weak in this patch. They might have to improve his stun. The thing that he doesn't stun, but he roots people in an AoE. They have to improve the time of root for Underlord to make him good again. In my opinion, it's not good enough to make it back into the pro scene. They need another buff or 2 more buffs. Undying base armor increased by 1. Yeah, this is good for Undying, because Undying is so squishy. As a strength hero, it's one of the squishiest, in my opinion. Yes, he's still strength, but his armor is shit. It's so shit in the earlier stage, because Undying, you usually don't want to play him as a core, so you're gonna play him as a support, and he's a melee support that relies so much on mana, so he usually needs some mana items in the early stage, and then after he has enough mana, he'll need to get strength items or tanky items in the late game. So basically he lacks armor in the very early stages, so buffing his armor is relevant, but by 1, I think they should buff his armor by 2 or 3. Maybe that's overpowered. But I think he deserves some buff on the tankier side. Like, either you buff his strength gain, or base strength, or armor. Yep, that will make him relevant again. That's good enough to make him relevant again in the earlier stages in the pro scene, as well as in the pop scene. Viper strike cooldown reduce. Yeah, this should be reduced. But Viper is a hero that doesn't really rely as much on his ultimate, in my opinion, because he doesn't have enough mana for his ultimate anyway. Because once he's used his ultimate in a team fight, he will have 0 mana to use later. So it's better to build a Viper as a right clicker or a tanker than to, build him as a ultimate spammer. He's just not good at that, because Viper is always lacking mana no matter what role you're playing with it. Visage. Summon familiars cooldown reduce to 130 seconds. Okay. This is a good buff to Visage, because I think we want to see more Visage. Visage used to be like the must pick hero in Dota 1 for a support, but now we're seeing less and less, so maybe IceFrog just want to bring him back. Wind Ranger, wind run slow increase in the earlier levels, so we'll see some pro plays or some support Wind Ranger slowing people and maxing wind run instead of Shackle. Maybe, I'm not sure, but because we don't really use wind run to slow enemies, instead we use it for running or to tank or to survive a gank or to rush and gank people, so it's not so much about slowing. But maybe we'll see Weeha or some good Wind Ranger gameplays abusing the slow. Who knows? And last but not least, Winter Wyvern Arctic Burn health damage increase. They really want Winter Wyvern to come back in the pro scene again. Health damage increase from 8 to 9%. Oh my lord. This is a good buff. They've been buffing Winter Wyvern almost every patch. I love Winter Wyvern, so for me it's good. For others, maybe it's a nightmare. So conclusion. I forgot to do a conclusion on my previous few patch analysis. So we're gonna see more item wise, not so much on the Echo Saber, but Helm of Dominator and Necronomicon does get a decent buff, so we might see this more. But I doubt that people will still play Helm of Dominator unless you're playing Enchantress or something, or Chen, or I really don't know which hero use Helm of Dominator anymore. Maybe Sven to stack creeps, but this is never the main intention, the HP. and it's never gonna be, at least in this patch. But maybe that 100 health increase does change things in the pro scene. Who knows? Okay, we're gonna see more Necronomicon, of course. 5 seconds is a lot, especially when you're pushing towers. That's not really gonna change much. I would say like we're gonna see less Crystal Maiden. Okay, here's the conclusion. Less Crystal Maiden. And we're gonna see less IO. Nah, not IO. Less Crystal Maiden and less... Where's the other guy? Treant Protector. Less Treant Protector in the upcoming game. Because these two heroes actually slow down the pace in the early game right now because of Treant is walking so slow. I think it's even slower than Shadow Shaman at this rate. And Crystal Maiden needs more mana in the early game, which sucks because people pick Crystal Maiden just for the early game most of the time, at least. We're not gonna see more Doom because of this. Nope. We're gonna see more Gyro, of course, after the few patches. I think we're gonna see Gyrocopter in TI7, or there might be another path in the next, another buff in the next patch if no one picks it in the coming, like before TI7. We might see a 7.06E next week. Who knows? Valve is crazy now. They've been patching Dota 2 every week so that we have something to do. So, in my opinion, this meta shifted to more of the less unseen hero. We will see more of that. Overall, they're trying to buff the hero that are less picked and nerf the hero that are too commonly picked recently, especially in the pro scene. And that's what it is now. Alright, I've done with the analysis for patch note 7.06D. And my face is missing. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Henson signing out. And we'll catch you again in the next patch, probably in the next week. Bye.